The war between humans and the Xelyran Empire had ended only weeks ago. The battlefield was silent now, but the anger still burned like fire in the hearts of both sides. Among the prisoners taken after the final battle was Captain Daniel Hayes, a decorated human soldier. He was known for his courage, but now he was known by another name, the enemy of Xelyran. Daniel sat inside a bright, cold chamber made of shining blue metal. The walls glowed faintly and strange alien symbols floated in the air. He could hear whispers, female voices speaking in the Xelyran tongue. The sound was soft, almost musical, but filled with judgment. He looked up and saw them, the Female Tribunal of Xelyran. 7 tall alien women stood before him, each one wearing silver armor that shimmered like starlight. Their eyes were not human. They glowed, golden, sharp, and full of power. Every movement they made was calm and graceful, but their presence made Daniel's heart pound. The leader stepped forward. She was taller than the others, her hair like flowing silver threads, her gaze cold as space. "I am High Adjudicator Xelyran, Speaker of the Tribunal," she said in a clear, commanding voice. "Human soldier, you are charged with war crimes against the Xelyran. Do you understand your situation?" Daniel raised his head, his wrists chained by glowing cuffs. "I defended my people," he said. "I didn't come here to destroy your world." His voice echoed, but the tribunal's faces showed no mercy. Xelyran's lips curved slightly, but it wasn't a smile. "Defend? You led an attack that killed 50 of our warriors. You invaded our sacred territory. You broke the pact of life." Daniel clenched his fists. "Your army attacked first." But his voice sounded weak against the weight of alien law. The chamber lights dimmed. A low hum filled the air as the tribunal began to speak in unison, their words forming a strange melody. It was their ancient judgment ritual, a process older than any human civilization. Symbols of light circled around Daniel, scanning his body, his mind, his soul. He could feel the energy pressing against his skin, like invisible hands searching his memories. He tried to stay strong, but flashes of the war hit him hard. Explosions, screams, faces of the dead. The memories burned. He gritted his teeth, refusing to scream. Finally, the humming stopped. Xelyran looked at him again, her expression unreadable. "The tribunal finds you guilty under the laws of Xelyran," she said. "You are not to be executed. Instead, your punishment will be different." Daniel's heart raced. "Different? What do you mean?" The other members whispered among themselves. Xelyran lifted her hand for silence. "You, human soldier, will take part in our Ritual of Renewal, an ancient rite that ensures the strength of our species. You will be assigned to the mating selection." Daniel froze. "Wait, what? You can't be serious." Xelyran's golden eyes met his. "You will not question the tribunal. You will do as commanded. The ritual begins at the next moonrise." He tried to protest, but 2 Xelyran guards approached. They were tall, elegant, but clearly powerful. They took his arms and began to lead him away. The glowing cuffs pulsed with energy as he was pulled toward the exit. The cold fear in his chest turned into something else. Confusion, anger, and a strange curiosity. As the door slid shut behind him, he heard Xelyran's voice one last time. "Perhaps, human, through this ritual you will understand the true nature of life and power." The chamber went silent. Daniel was pushed into a dark corridor filled with blue mist. He didn't know where they were taking him, or what this ritual truly meant. All he knew was that something deeper was happening here, something no human had ever faced before. In the distance he heard soft voices, female laughter, whispers, and the sound of water. And for the first time since the war ended, Captain Daniel Hayes felt afraid. Not of death, but of what was coming next. The corridor seemed endless, a tunnel made of glowing blue stone and silver light. Captain Daniel Hayes walked between 2 Xelyran guards, his hands still locked in energy cuffs. The air was warm and carried a faint, sweet scent, like flowers mixed with electricity. He could hear a deep hum coming from the walls as if the place itself was alive. Finally, they reached a tall door covered in strange symbols. The guards stopped and placed their hands on it. The symbols lit up one by one until the door opened with a soft hiss. A wave of warm, misty air brushed against Daniel's face. Inside was something he never expected. A massive chamber filled with light, water, and soft sounds. Streams of glowing water flowed across the floor. Tall crystal pillars reached up to a ceiling that shimmered like stars. In the center was a pool, glowing with silver-blue light, and around it stood 6 alien women, beautiful, otherworldly, and watching him in silence. Each one had different colors on her skin, shades of blue, violet, or pale gold. Their eyes glowed softly and their long hair moved like it was alive. They wore light robes made of transparent silk that floated around them. Daniel felt his chest tighten, not just from fear but from the strange beauty before him. One of the guards spoke in their musical language, then turned to Daniel. "Human, you are to wait here," she said in a calm, almost kind voice. "The council priestess will come to explain your purpose." They left and Daniel was alone with the 6 females. He took a deep breath, trying to look strong, but his heart raced. He could feel their eyes studying him, measuring him like a strange creature from another world. Finally, one of them stepped closer. Her eyes were bright green and her voice was soft. "You are human," she said slowly, testing the word. Daniel nodded. "Yes, and you are aliens." The female tilted her head, amused. "We prefer the word Xelyran." Her name, she told him, was Liara, a warrior of the outer moons. She was tall, graceful, but her smile was warm. "You fought bravely," she said. Daniel frowned. "How do you know?" "We saw your memories," Liara answered. "The tribunal shared them with us. You protected your people. You killed to survive, that is, respected here." Before he could reply, another voice echoed through the chamber, strong and clear. "Enough, Liara." A new figure entered. She was taller than the others, wearing a long silver robe and a crown made of glowing stones. Her skin was pale blue, her eyes golden and deep. Daniel recognized her immediately. High Adjudicator Xelyran, the one who sentenced him. He tensed. "You again," he said quietly. Xelyran stopped in front of him. "Yes, you stand now in the ritual chambers of renewal. Here you will fulfill your sentence." Daniel looked around. "Sentence? You mean this is some kind of punishment?" Xelyran nodded. "To us, it is not punishment. It is purpose. You were chosen because your human DNA is compatible with ours." Her voice softened slightly. "Our kind is dying, Captain Hayes. Fewer children are born each cycle. The ritual is not about desire, and it is about survival." He stared at her, stunned. "You're telling me you want me to help repopulate your species?" Her golden eyes met his. "Yes, you are part of the experiment, the first human to join the renewal." Daniel laughed once, but there was no humor in it. "You're insane." Xelyran didn't react. "Perhaps. But we will see who truly understands life and power when the ritual begins." Liara stepped forward again, looking worried. "He is frightened, High Adjudicator. He does not understand our ways." Xelyran turned her sharp gaze on her. "Then teach him. The ritual begins tomorrow at moonrise. Prepare him." With that, she turned and left, her robe flowing behind her like mist. Silence filled the chamber again. Liara looked at Daniel with sympathy. "You must rest," she said softly. He shook his head. "Rest? I'm a prisoner in a room full of aliens who think I'm some breeding tool." She smiled sadly. "Maybe fate has more plans for you than you think." She led him to a smaller room with soft lights and a bed made of strange glowing fabric. As he lay down, Daniel stared at the ceiling where stars danced across liquid glass. His mind was full of questions and fear. What if this ritual was more than they said? What if he wasn't just chosen, but trapped? Far away, Xelyran watched from her private chamber, her eyes glowing faintly. "Let us see, human," she whispered. "If your kind can survive our ways of life." And somewhere in the darkness, deep within the Xelyran palace, a hidden machine activated, a pulse of light that recorded every breath he took, every thought, every heartbeat. The experiment had already begun. When Daniel woke up, the room was glowing faintly with golden light. The air smelled like flowers and metal, strange but not unpleasant. He sat up slowly, feeling a dull ache in his body. The glowing cuffs were gone. For the first time since his capture, he was free to move. He walked toward the wall where a panel shimmered with light. As he touched it, the metal rippled like water. His reflection looked back at him. Tired eyes, rough face, a soldier far from home. "What have I gotten myself into?" he whispered. The door opened quietly and Liara entered. She carried a bowl filled with glowing blue liquid and a folded robe of soft white fabric. "You must drink this," she said. "It will prepare your body for the ritual." Daniel frowned. "What's in it?" Liara smiled a little. "It won't harm you, it will connect you." He hesitated but finally took the bowl. The liquid tasted cold and electric, like drinking light itself. Almost instantly, he felt a strange warmth spread through his veins. Energy, awareness, life. His heart beat faster. The colors in the room seemed brighter, sharper. Liara watched him closely. "It is working," she said softly. "What is?" "The bond between your human essence and our life force. Without it, you could not survive the ritual." He looked at her, confused. "Survive? What exactly happens in this ritual?" Liara didn't answer right away. Her eyes shifted as if remembering something painful. "It is not only about creation, Daniel," she said. "It is about energy, the merging of two beings' life forces. It can heal, or it can destroy." Before he could ask more, the chamber doors opened again. 2 guards entered, followed by Xelyran. She wore a dark robe that shimmered like a night sky. Her expression was calm, but her golden eyes burned with hidden intensity. "It is time," she said. Daniel felt his pulse quicken. "Time for what exactly?" "For truth," Xelyran replied. "Follow us." They led him down a curved hallway filled with mist and light. Alien symbols glowed on the floor with each step. At the end was a massive door covered in crystal vines. When it opened, Daniel gasped. Inside was a vast circular chamber. The air shimmered like heat waves and the floor was made of liquid light. Dozens of Xelyran females stood around in a perfect circle, chanting in low musical tones. Their voices echoed like 1,000 soft bells. In the center was a platform, and above it floated a large sphere of energy. It pulsed slowly like a heartbeat. Xelyran gestured toward it. "This is the heart of Xelyran. It is our source of life. You will step into the circle, human, and begin the merging." Daniel took a step back. "I don't understand any of this. Why me?" "Because your human energy resonates with the heart," Xelyran said. "You carry something unique, a spark that even we have lost." Liara approached him and placed her hand gently on his arm. "Don't fight it, trust me. I will guide you." He looked into her green eyes and saw no cruelty there, only sadness and something he couldn't name. Slowly he nodded. As he stepped onto the glowing platform, the chanting grew louder. The air vibrated, and the sphere above began to spin faster. Liara joined him, standing opposite him in the circle. Xelyran raised her hands and the light around them flared. "Begin the merge," Xelyran commanded. Liara closed her eyes and her skin started to glow. Daniel felt a pull, like invisible threads connecting their bodies. His heart raced, then his vision blurred. Suddenly he saw flashes, Liara's memories, her homeworld, her battles, her pain. And she saw his. The burning cities, his fallen soldiers, his guilt. Their minds touched. It wasn't just physical, it was emotional, spiritual. He could feel her heartbeat, her fear, her loneliness. And she could feel his sorrow, his strength. The energy around them grew brighter, filling the chamber with blinding light. The other Xelyrans began to chant faster. Daniel screamed as the power surged through him. It was too much. Liara reached out and grabbed his hands. "Hold on, don't break the bond." The light exploded, shaking the walls. Then everything went silent. When Daniel opened his eyes, the chamber was dark. He was lying on the cold floor, breathing hard. Liara knelt beside him, her body glowing faintly. Xelyran stood nearby, watching with sharp eyes. "It is done," Xelyran said. "The first merge is complete." Daniel tried to sit up. "What happened?" Xelyran smiled slightly. "You survived. That means the heart has accepted you." He looked at Liara. She was pale, trembling. "What about her?" he asked. "She gave part of her essence to stabilize yours," Xelyran said. "That was her choice." Liara managed a weak smile. "You are stronger than I expected, human." Xelyran turned and began to walk away. "The next ritual will not be so kind," she said. And as the doors closed behind her, Daniel realized this was only the beginning. Whatever they wanted from him, it was far from over. He looked at Liara again, her light fading slowly. In that moment, he felt something new. Not just fear, but connection. Something had changed between them. Something powerful and dangerous. Hours passed after the first ritual. Captain Daniel Hayes lay awake on the glowing bed, staring at the shifting lights on the ceiling. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw flashes of Liara's memories. Her people, her world, her pain. The connection between them was real now. He could feel her heartbeat even from another room. The door slid open with a soft hiss. Liara entered quietly, still weak but standing tall. Her eyes glowed faintly green. "You should rest," she said. The energy inside you is still unstable. Daniel sat up. I'm fine. But you almost died. Liara smiled gently. The merge always takes something from both. That is the cost of life. He frowned. You mean this ritual kills people? Her silence said more than words. After a moment, she sat beside him. Not all survive. Some lose their minds, some vanish into the light. But you are different. The heart accepted you. Daniel rubbed his face, confused and angry. I never asked to be accepted. I just want to go home. Liara's eyes softened. Home is far away, Daniel. The tribunal will not let you leave. He looked at her. Then I'll find another way. Before she could answer, the chamber door opened again. 2 guards entered. The High Adjudicator calls for you, one said. Liara stood quickly. He needs more rest. The guard ignored her. Now, Daniel stood. Fine. Let's see what she wants this time. They led him through another long corridor. This one darker, colder. Strange lights pulsed from the walls, and he noticed crystal tubes filled with glowing liquid lining the hall. Inside each tube, shadows floated, humanoid shapes. Daniel stopped. What are those? The guard didn't answer. Liara's voice echoed softly behind him. Do not look too long, human. That is the vault of failures. He turned to her. Failures? Yes, she whispered. The ones who didn't survive the merge. Daniel's stomach turned. You're experimenting on people? On me? Liara lowered her gaze. It is not my choice. They entered a circular room, dimly lit, filled with holographic displays of DNA strands and alien symbols. At the center stood Xelyran, watching a projection of Daniel's body spinning in midair, every cell glowing in golden light. Welcome, Captain Hayes, she said calmly. You are recovering well. Daniel stepped closer, anger in his voice. You're using me as an experiment. Xelyran smiled faintly. We call it evolution. You humans carry a hidden frequency in your blood, one we have lost. The ritual reawakens it. What are you trying to create? He demanded. Xelyran's expression turned cold. A future. Our kind is dying, Daniel. Without the merging, we will fade from existence. You, however, may be the key to saving us. Daniel shook his head. You can't just play God with people's lives. Xelyran stepped closer, her eyes burning gold. You talk of gods, yet your kind destroys worlds without regret. You killed 50 of my warriors, and now you speak of mercy? Daniel froze. I was following orders. Exactly, she said quietly. And now you will follow mine. She gestured toward the tubes on the wall. Each one holds a memory of a failed merge. Their bodies are gone, but their energy remains. If your next ritual succeeds, those souls will be reborn through the heart. Daniel's breath caught. Reborn or trapped? Xelyran didn't answer. She only turned away. Prepare yourself. Tomorrow you face the dual merge. As he was escorted out, Daniel whispered to Liara, What's a dual merge? She looked pale. 2 Xelyrans, 1 human. It has never been done before. Back in his quarters, Daniel paced like a caged animal. The walls seemed to whisper. The lights pulsed with strange rhythm, like a heartbeat. He stopped when a small panel in the wall flickered open, revealing a faint light and a voice. Daniel Hayes. The voice said softly. It wasn't Liara, it was mechanical and cold. Who are you? He asked. I am Archive Unit 7. I record the failures you saw. Listen carefully, and the tribunal lies. The ritual is not to save life. It is to control it, Daniel's heart pounded. Control how? The merge links your soul to the heart. Once complete, you are no longer free. You become part of the Xelyran network, a living source of power. Daniel's eyes widened. Then I'm just a battery to them. Correct, said the voice. But you can stop it. Deep under this chamber is the core access gate. Destroy it and you end the ritual forever. Before he could ask more, the panel snapped shut. The light vanished. Moments later, Liara entered quietly. You are trembling, she said. Daniel looked at her, his voice low. Tell me the truth, Liara. What happens when the final ritual ends? She hesitated. Her eyes filled with tears. You won't be you anymore. Silence fell between them. Then Daniel spoke, his voice calm but fierce. Then I'm ending it. Liara stepped closer, her voice shaking. If they find out, they'll kill you. He looked into her glowing eyes. Then they'll have to try. Outside, the Xelyran moon rose high. cold, bright, and watching. And somewhere deep below the palace, the heart pulsed faster, as if it already knew a storm was coming. The night on Xelyra was silent. Outside Daniel's chamber, the stars burned like white fire over the alien city. Tall spires glowed with silver. Light and streams of energy floated through the air like rivers in the sky. But inside the palace, the silence was heavy, the kind that comes before a storm. Daniel sat by the glowing wall, replaying the words of Archive Unit 7 in his mind. You become part of the Xelyran network, a living source of power. He clenched his fists. He wasn't going to let that happen, not to himself, not to Liara. The door opened softly. Liara entered, her face pale, eyes full of worry. You called me, she whispered. If the guards find us together, they will suspect something. Daniel nodded. I don't care, I need answers. He stood and faced her. You said I wouldn't be myself after the final ritual. What does that mean, Liara? What happens to me? She hesitated, then spoke quietly, like confessing a sin. The heart consumes the merged souls. You become one with it, mind, body, memory. You will still exist, but not as Daniel Hayes. You will be energy, serving the heart forever. Daniel's eyes hardened. So Xelyra lied to everyone. Liara looked down. No one questions her. She says it is our destiny, but some of us doubt. She looked up again, her voice trembling. I wanted to stop her once. I failed. My sister, she tried to resist the ritual. The tribunal erased her. Daniel placed a hand on her shoulder. Then we stopped this together. For her. For everyone. Liara's eyes widened. You want to escape? Yes, he said firmly. But I can't do it alone. For a moment, she said nothing. Then she took a deep breath. There's a way. Below the palace is the core access gate, where the heart connects to the network. If you reach it, you can destroy the energy source. But no human has ever gone that far. Daniel smiled faintly. Then I'll be the first. Liara shook her head. It's guarded by the sentinels, creatures made of pure energy. Even I cannot face them alone. Then we don't face them, Daniel said. We outsmart them. He began pacing, his soldier's mind working fast. How far is the gate from here? Deep underground, she said, through the ritual halls across the Chamber of Echoes. You'll need a pass crystal to open the path. Can you get one? Liara hesitated. Only Xelyra has the authority to grant one. Daniel thought for a moment. Then I'll take it from her. Liara's eyes widened. That's suicide. He smiled grimly. So was coming here in the first place. That night, the palace was quiet, the guards on low alert. Liara disguised Daniel in a flowing Xelyran robe that shimmered faintly under the light. His human features were partly hidden by a hood and a glowing mask. They slipped through the corridors like shadows. Every corner held danger. Patrol drones, scanning lights, whispering walls that seemed to sense movement. But Liara knew the hidden paths. She moved swiftly, guiding Daniel through narrow passages and maintenance tunnels. Finally, they reached a large chamber filled with floating crystal tablets. At the center stood a raised platform, Xelyra's private sanctum. The pass crystal glowed above her throne, spinning slowly in the air. Daniel whispered, That's it. Liara nodded. We must be quick. He climbed the steps quietly, heart pounding. As his fingers touched the crystal, it burned with light. A voice echoed through the room. Leaving so soon, Captain Hayes? Xelyra stood at the entrance, her golden eyes glowing in the dark. Liara froze. High Adjudicator? Silence, Xelyra snapped, her voice sharp as a blade. I should have known your weakness would betray you, Liara. Daniel stepped forward, holding the crystal. It's over, Xelyra. I know the truth. Xelyra smiled, calm, confident. The truth? You think you've seen it, but you've seen only what I allowed you to see. Her eyes glowed brighter. The ritual isn't a lie. Its evolution. You, Daniel Hayes, are the bridge between two dying worlds. Daniel raised the crystal like a weapon. No, I'm not your bridge, I'm your end. The room filled with energy as Xelyran lifted her hands. Blue lightning flashed from her palms, striking the floor near Daniel. Liara shouted, "Run!" They darted through a side tunnel as the walls shook behind them. Xelyran's voice echoed through the corridor, cold and furious. "You cannot escape the heart, human, it already knows you." They ran until their lungs burned. The tunnel ended at a lift made of glowing rings. Liara slammed her hand on the panel and the platform began to descend rapidly into the darkness below. As they sank deeper into the planet's core, Daniel looked at her. "She'll come after us." Liara nodded. "Yes, but we still have a chance." The light faded around them, replaced by shadows and the faint hum of unseen machines. In the distance, deep below, a heartbeat echoed, slow and powerful. The heart of Xelyran was waiting. Daniel tightened his grip on the pass crystal. Whatever lay ahead, he was ready. He had faced war, loss, and death. But this time, he wasn't fighting for Earth. He was fighting for freedom itself. The lift carried Daniel and Liara down into the deep layers of the Xelyran Palace. The glowing rings above them disappeared one by one, swallowed by darkness. Only the dim blue light from the pass crystal in Daniel's hand kept them from vanishing completely. The air grew thick, warm, electric, almost alive. Daniel could hear faint whispers echoing through the metal walls like voices calling from far away. He looked at Liara. "Do you hear that?" She nodded, her face pale. The voices of the heart. Every soul absorbed by it still speaks. They are trapped inside forever. Daniel's grip on the crystal tightened. "Then we're ending this tonight." The lift slowed and stopped. A gate opened, revealing a massive cavern glowing with pulsing red and gold light. At the center stood the heart of Xelyran, a gigantic sphere of energy, floating above a pit of molten light. It pulsed slowly, like a living creature breathing. The ground trembled beneath their feet. Strange machines surrounded the heart, silver towers covered in alien symbols, and cables glowing like veins feeding into the sphere. Energy surged through them with each pulse. Liara stepped forward, her voice trembling. "This is it, the core, the life of our world." Daniel stared at the massive sphere. "Looks more like a prison to me." As they moved closer, a deep vibration filled the air. From the shadows, shapes began to rise. Tall, glowing figures made of pure energy. Their faces had no eyes, only shifting light. Each step they took left a trail of sparks. "The Sentinels," Liara whispered. "Guardians of the heart." Daniel raised his hands in defense. "Any chance they're friendly?" Liara shook her head. "None." The Sentinels spread out in a circle surrounding them. Their voices came as one, a deep, echoing chorus. "Unauthorized presence. The heart must be protected." Daniel drew a weapon he'd taken from a guard earlier, a plasma blade that glowed bright white. He stepped in front of Liara. "Stay behind me." The Sentinels attacked. One swung its arm, releasing a wave of energy. Daniel ducked, rolling across the floor as the blast scorched the metal. He slashed with the blade, cutting through a Sentinel's chest. It screamed, a sound like tearing glass, and burst into shards of light. Another came from behind. Liara raised her hand, summoning a shield of glowing blue energy. The attack hit her barrier and scattered into sparks. She gasped. "Go! The heart's core is behind that wall." Daniel nodded, pushing forward through the chaos. The ground shook again. The heart's pulse grew faster, angry, alive. It felt like it was watching him. He reached the control platform, a massive panel of symbols and light. "Tell me what to do," he shouted. Liara ran to him, pressing her hand on the console. "The crystal. It must connect here." He placed the pass crystal into the center slot. Immediately, the chamber exploded with light. The Sentinels froze mid-air, their forms flickering. The heart's voice echoed through the cavern, deep and terrible. "Human, You do not belong here. Daniel staggered. The voice was inside his head. It wasn't speaking with sound. It was inside his thoughts. He gritted his teeth. You've taken enough lives. It ends now. You cannot destroy me, the heart whispered. I am made of what you are. I am your pain, your hate, your hunger for power. Suddenly memories flashed before his eyes. Every battle, every death, every moment of rage. He saw his fallen friends, the fires of Earth's war, and the faces of those he couldn't save. The heart was feeding on him. Liara grabbed his arm. Daniel, don't let it in, fight it. Her touch snapped him back. He took a deep breath and shouted, You're right, I am human, and that means I choose. He pulled the plasma blade and stabbed it into the control panel. The console exploded with white light. The heart screamed, a sound that shook the entire cavern. The sentinels collapsed into ash, but the explosion threw Daniel backward. He hit the ground hard, his body burning from the energy shock. The heart flickered violently, parts of it breaking apart. Liara rushed to him. You did it! It's weakening! He groaned. Not yet. We have to finish it. She looked toward the glowing pit beneath the heart. If the core is destroyed, the network dies. But the energy will explode. Nothing will survive. Daniel's voice was calm, steady. Then someone has to stay behind. Liara's eyes filled with tears. No, there must be another way. He smiled faintly. There never is. Before she could stop him, Daniel pulled himself to his feet and walked toward the edge of the pit. The heart's voice trembled now, weak, fading. Human, you destroy what you do not understand. Daniel looked back at Liara one last time. Maybe. But I understand this. Freedom is worth dying for. He leaped into the light, carrying the pass crystal in his hand. A blinding flash filled the cavern. Liara screamed his name. Daniel! As the heart of Xelyra exploded into a storm of light and fire. Then, silence. The entire palace above trembled as the ground cracked open. The glowing towers went dark, and for the first time in 1,000 years the heart of Xelyra stopped beating. The explosion from the heart of Xelyra tore through the underground chambers like a sun being born. Light consumed everything, the walls, the machines, even the air itself. Then came silence, a silence so deep it felt like the universe was holding its breath. Liara lay on the floor, her body glowing faintly from the energy shock. Her head rang with echoes and the sound of Daniel's final words. Freedom is worth dying for. Tears streamed down her face. Daniel, she whispered. But there was no answer, only the soft hum of fading energy. She stumbled to her feet. The cavern was in ruins. The heart, once a massive glowing sphere, was gone. All that remained was a crater of silver dust swirling with fading light. The sentinels had vanished. The walls no longer pulsed. For the first time in her life, the heart was silent. Liara fell to her knees. She touched the ground where Daniel had stood. It was warm, alive, as if something was still breathing there. A single shard of the pass crystal lay beside her, glowing softly. She held it to her chest. You saved us, she said. But I didn't save you. Hours passed. The upper city was in chaos. Without the heart, the Xelyran energy towers began to dim. The tribunal's power collapsed. Xelyra stood on the palace balcony watching the skies flicker. Her golden eyes were full of fury and then something else. Fear. The heart cannot die, she whispered. But deep inside she could feel it. A void where the eternal pulse once lived. And in that void, something new was growing. Liara wandered through the ruins, guided by the faint glow of the broken crystal. Everywhere she walked, small lights began to spark from the ground. Not the cold blue of Xelyran energy, but warm golden light. It spread like fire through the cracks in the floor, traveling outward. The planet itself seemed to awaken. She reached the chamber's edge and froze. A shape was forming in the center of the crater, a figure made of light and smoke. Slowly it took human form. Daniel, she whispered. The light flickered, solidifying. It was him, his armor broken, his eyes closed, his body floating above the glowing dust. Liara ran forward, reaching out. When her fingers touched his hand, the light around him pulsed stronger. His eyes opened. Not blue anymore, cold like the heart itself. He looked at her, confused but alive. "Where am I?" he whispered. Liara laughed and cried at once. "You're here. You destroyed the heart!" He looked around. "No, I became part of it." He stepped forward and the dust under his feet glowed. "I felt everything, every soul, every memory. They were trapped, but when the heart died, they were freed." He looked down at his hands. "And now they're all inside me." Liara's breath caught. You are the new heart?" Daniel shook his head. "No, I'm something else. I'm both human and Xelyran now, and I can feel life returning. Not control, not power, but balance." Xelyra appeared at the entrance, her robe torn, her eyes wide. "So it's true," she whispered. "You survived." Daniel turned to face her. "Your heart was built on slavery. It's over." Xelyra's voice trembled. "You don't understand. Without the heart, our people will die." Daniel stepped closer, his golden eyes glowing softly. "Then let them live, not exist as prisoners." He raised his hand and light spread through the air, warm, healing, alive. The palace walls repaired themselves. The air shimmered. Across the city, Xelyrans looked to the sky as the light touched them. Their bodies began to glow with faint energy, their own life force not drawn from the heart. For the first time in centuries, they were free beings. Liara watched in awe. "You've changed everything." Daniel looked at her with a soft smile. "No, we did." Later, as dawn rose over Xelyra, the two stood on a high cliff overlooking the city. The sun, golden alive, broke through the clouds, painting the ruins with light. Liara turned to him. "Will you return to your world?" Daniel looked toward the horizon. "I don't think I can. I'm not fully human anymore." She smiled sadly. "Then stay. Help us rebuild. Our worlds may be different, but our hearts are the same." Daniel looked at her, his expression calm but full of meaning. "I'll stay, as long as I can." They stood in silence, watching the sunrise. The air was warm, peaceful. Above them, the stars began to fade and the planet breathed freely again. But somewhere deep within the ashes of the old heart, a spark of light flickered, faint but alive. A whisper echoed through the void. "The cycle is not over." Liara turned suddenly, sensing it. Daniel's golden eyes narrowed. "It's starting again." He looked at her, determination in his voice. "Then we fight it, together." The wind rose, carrying the light of a new world across the horizon. The human soldier and the alien warrior stood side by side, not as enemies, not as conquerors, but as the first of a new beginning.